You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, today's podcast episode, I am feeling good. I am pretty much back to full strength, maybe one more day here. Still dealing with a little bit of a lingering cough, but long story short, man, it has been a wild last 3.5 weeks of being under the weather, kind of limping along both in business and in life. Liz and I got, just for a little bit of context, if you guys are listening to the podcast episode real time, we got sick for about 10, 12 days with pink eye. First time dealing with that since, frankly, I can remember, maybe when I was a little kid or something like that. And then Liz and I, Crew and Emmy, the four of us caught some type of respiratory virus, cough, and infection as well. Was not COVID, was not flu, was not RSV, was not a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, at the end of the day, we have no idea still what it is. Shortness of breath. As I'm coughing real time, shortness of breath. We have just had this nonstop lingering cough. And frankly, it's been horrible. It's been horrible. It's been brutal. It has been, pretty much the worst timing ever, and wasn't able to make it down to the Hardscape Academy training, which we were looking forward to that, so to forgo that. And then also, it's cost me probably in total $7,000 to $10,000 of doctor visits, hospital visits, medicine, and a whole bunch of ridiculousness just at the end of the day. So if I'm a little fired up, if I'm a little pointed, if I'm a little no filter, if I'm a little pissed off, if I'm a little, hey, we've got to make up for some lost time and some lost ground, then yes, that's where I'm at mentally, financially, attitudinally. And so there's a lot to tackle and to get ready to go before the spring rush. Talk about perfect timing. Being off for 3.5 weeks in late February to March is just a brutal time when you're trying to get your legs underneath you. For multiple different reasons, too. Not only that, was not able to go to the Techo Block Showcase, which I'm very, very bummed about. That was last week, Friday. I was hoping to rally and feel good, but the kids were just sick. The day before, I was at the hospital, the emergency room with Emmy at 5 o'clock in the morning, uncontrollable coughing and throwing up and vomiting. And, dude, just worst case scenario. By the way, we got like 200 people that text me and DM me after I put out a small story asking for prayers, because it was pretty challenging and scary. And a lot of people said, hey, been there, man, pray for you, wish you the best. When you got kids and they're sick, you would almost do anything to, help them feel better, make them feel better, trade places with them, so on and so forth. So thank you guys for the love. I'm always just blown away by the community that we've built here with the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, all of our friends on Instagram. It's just really, really special in that regard. Well, again, it definitely took the wind out of my sails, though, because, we have been graduating and onboarding and working some estimates here lately with LMN. We've got so much work to do to get into the queue. And it's just been kind of, frankly, just a punch to the face, like a sucker punch, this last couple of weeks. And I'm very, very frustrated in that regard. So we're going to be working some overtime to get caught up, to get our feet back underneath us, and to really come back at things with a vengeance. So stay tuned towards the YouTube channel, both Brian's Law Maintenance and Building It Together. We'll be pumping out content there. I love making content, love making YouTube videos, sharing with what we got going on, both in our life and our business, and just building community with all of you guys there. And we should be back to rocking and rolling with some really fun, engaging podcast episodes here too. So a lot going on. Just to put a little 3-minute bumper there saying we should be back and we're ready to rock and roll. Really quick here. I wanted to talk about on today's podcast episode here in just a quick minute, talking about pricing, calling out some of the BS that I see out there, and really getting to the bottom line here about how you're making money in your business. And frankly, without trying to be mean or rude to anybody out there, just the blind leading the blind. And I'm going to champion this conversation. I'm going to be complaining and or helping, whichever way you want to look at it, at the top of my lungs for probably the next little while here until this permeates into the depth of every ethos of all social media and anybody providing content, helping with content, or helping people grow business. Because frankly, I don't see anybody talking about this stuff, and it's very, very alarming. Other than the top line, buzz line, know your numbers, it's so alarming to me as I learn more business, as I learn and I get around more successful people and people that have a more successful life. How many pieces of the puzzle I still don't know. And all that I know is that I know nothing, right, at this point in life. And what I will say is it's been very refreshing, very encouraging, very enlightening. And at the same point, you got to imagine where I'm coming from. Very alarming with what is being talked about out there, what is not being talked about out there in the marketplace. So I've got some couple just thoughts, simple stuff, talking about how we're utilizing Element to actually bid stuff and price work correctly and profitably, and know that we are. So that's what I wanted to talk about. It'll be a short and sweet rant, 5 or 10 minutes, I promise you that. So I'm really looking forward to helping you guys out with that here when we come back from today's show sponsors in one quick second. Before we do, 2 things that I wanted to talk about. And I really do sincerely have my heart here, where I wanted to talk about our link membership, which is growing really, really well. New folks joining in every single day. I've had numerous coaching calls, DMs, emails, folks talking back and forth how they've already joined, they love it. And then a bunch of folks on the fence that as soon as the spring rush starts and they want to join once they start getting a little bit more cash flow coming in, I totally understand. The link membership is $29 a month. It's not anything wild, but I'm totally cognizant that, everybody's trying to save some money, cut some costs, during winter. We get it. But now that the, majority of us are going to be out there doing cleanups and mulch and getting back to a solid 7, 8, 9 months, I highly expect to see an influx of new folks part of that group and membership, because the amount of information that's available there and the community that's available there is truly second to none. And I'm really excited about continuing to make that available for so many. It's growing every day. This isn't a plea to get you in. I'm just telling you, for those of you guys that are serious about growing, this is the community that we have through Fullerton Unfiltered, Brian's Law Maintenance on Instagram, Brian's Law Maintenance on YouTube. This is where it's at. And all of these conversations are going to be continued on and a level deeper in the link membership. So I can highly encourage you guys to check that out and to join today. Point number 2, normally we do Wednesday live streams. We're going to be doing the Wednesday live stream this week. Coaching hours, bidding hours, community hangout sesh. I love it. That's the huge perk and benefit of being part of the Launchpreneur Academy link membership. Something that we're going to do, talking about number 2, that I'm really excited about besides link, is on Thursday, March 14th from 7 to 9 p.m., we're going to do a Element launch party on the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel. I'm really, really excited about that. If you guys want to mark your calendars, and if you guys want to put a little reminder in your phone from Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be doing an Element live launch party on the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel, where we're literally going to show you our Element account, what our budget is, what our break even is, what our costs are, how we're scheduling work, how we're sending out estimates, and how the platform actually works. And the reason we wanted to do that is because, frankly, there's so many folks out there that are looking over the fence and are looking to upgrade to Element software, I've come to find out. But they are curious to see, 1, how the platform works. That's fair. 2, can it work for my company? That's fair. 3, how are we making it work for a maintenance company? That's fair. Those are all really common questions and concerns that you guys have, and I had as well, which is why, 1, we didn't hop onto Element and just drink the Kool-Aid, a couple years ago, because I wasn't ready for it yet. But number 2, why we are excited about hopping on the bandwagon now, because our company is ready for it, and I've realized that it is the next best thing for our company. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here when we talk about pricing and how that can relate. But what I just wanted to offer for you guys is we have Mark Bradley, founder of Element, who's going to do a 2-hour live stream and click through our actual account, show you guys what we're doing, what we're projected to do for revenue, what we're projected to create for profit, what we're paying everybody. I mean, literally, folks, I can't tell you of anybody that's ever done this. I don't know of anybody that's ever done this. It's as transparent and honest as it can be. It's not in an effort to sign up a bunch of people for LMN. We don't lead with anything like that. It's designed to show you guys we're looking to grow. We're looking to take our company to the next level. And this is the exact resource and platform and tool and operating system that we're going to use in Brian's Law Maintenance to go to the next level. So we wanted to show you guys just a candid, transparent, hey, here's how it works. And you guys can look over the fence, ask questions. We got 2 hours live with Mark Bradley himself showing you guys exactly how we're going to be running our company. So I invite you guys to check that out. That, my friends, are the two things that I'm very, very excited about launching and sharing with you guys here over the next couple days and into this week as you guys are listening to real time. What I want to do is just take a quick minute here, listen to the show sponsors and announcements. We've got so many great things going on in the ecosystem, including, the free Equip ticket if you sign up for Link for March and April. We've got discount codes, Brian's 10, that works with Equipment Defender, Ballard Products, IsoTune, so much more. So there's always something going on here. And once we are done hearing from today's show sponsored announcements, which I super appreciate those that support our show, I wanted to talk about pricing here for just about 5 minutes and talk to you guys about demystifying something that I see out there in the marketplace and kind of maybe helping you guys understand that there's still some folks that are out there that are the blind leading the blind, and be very cautious, not just who you listen to, but how you run and operate your business. So with that, give me 2 quick minutes here. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to come right on back.
Attention all entrepreneurs. Achieve more in 24 with Entrepreneur Academy's Link membership. For a limited time only through April 30th, when you join Link, you'll receive an exclusive offer. Free registration for you and your team to the Equip Exposition in Louisville, Kentucky. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Connect, learn, and grow your business while staying up to date on industry trends and innovations. Elevate your entrepreneurial journey today by joining Link. Seize this incredible offer and propel your business to new heights. Unlock your free registration to Equip for yourself and your team when you purchase your Link membership before April 30th. You got it. There's a link for that in the show description.
All right, guys. Well, let's jump back into it here. My voice is only going to keep up for so long, so I guess that works in your guys' favor, if you know what I'm saying. You don't have to listen to that long of a podcast episode, although some of you guys like it when we go for an hour, 2 hours, and I like those podcast episodes myself as well. Maybe those like fireside chats or those late-night conversations with other friends of ours in the industry. Here's what I want to talk about for just a couple quick minutes. This is a... Man, I'm telling you, very, very, it's almost like somebody told me that the earth is flat and proved otherwise, or the earth was round and it proved otherwise. Or I remember akin back to like when you're in 6th grade elementary school type stuff, and, they're like, hey, what's 5 minus 5? And you're like 0. And then they're like, what's minus 5 from, what's minus 7 from 5? And you're like, well, it's still 0. I was like, no, actually it's minus 2. And you're like, you can have negative numbers? Like, I remember being in school that day, and I'm telling you, like, that's like somebody telling me that Santa Claus wasn't real or something like that. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa, like life has so much more breadth and dimension to it than I've ever would have fathomed. Now, granted, I was like 9 or 10 years old, so how much more can you know at that age? But that same kind of epiphany moment here is what I'm realizing when it comes to running our business. And this is through building a recent estimate, something that we just sent out to a client for renewal. And it's talking about now that we have all of our numbers plugged into LMN, we're pretty much onboarded. We're starting to build out our same contracts that we did previously, just with pen and paper, which is fine. And our productivity, knowing your numbers calculator, which gets us to 90 cents on the dollar to what we know our overhead costs are. The end of the day, it's like, how are people bidding and pricing work? And I'd really love to hear anybody out there doing anything other than using an LMN, software to tell me how you're actually coming up with your profitability. Tell me exactly how you're coming up with your total costs, your break even, your desired profit margin, your net profit, and a total price for a customer. And really, this is a huge conversation here, guys, as you can imagine. So here's what we all do. We show up to a property, residential lawn lady says, hey, can you cut my lawn? You say, no problem. We're here on Thursdays. She says, how much? You say $45 a week. She says, great. Can you sign us up? You say, yep, credit card on file. And that's it. That's really like the end of the conversation, right? And of course, you can upsell more landscape work, and there's work to do. And of course, the work has to get done. But here's like the whole macro conversation is, where did you come up with that number for $45? Well, last year's numbers were 40, so this year I'm charging 45. Okay, fair. Well, the last guy that was doing my house before I decided to go into business, he was doing for 50s, so I'm doing them for 45s. I can do it for cheaper. How do you know that? Okay, but sure. Well, the last guy was mowing my mother-in-law's house in the area. He was mowing for 35s. I can't make money at 35s, so I charge 45. Okay, fair enough. Well, Brian, I used your Know Your Numbers calculator. I did punch in all my company overhead, all my fixed costs, all my variable costs. I do know how much time I'm there. And so that way I know what I should be charging per lawn. So that got me to $42 per man hour, 2 lawns in an hour, $88. That means I got to cut each lawn at about $45. Oh, okay, cool. Like that's actually like at least 90 cents on the dollar how you get there. But how do you know how much true profit is left for your company with all the overhead? The point I wanted to bring up on this topic for just a quick second is when we were using Yardbook, and also I know a lot of folks promote Jobber. And again, if you have a small business here, 0 to 300 grand, and that's, truly qualified and classified as a small business. By the way, we have a small business. I'd love to have anybody tell me who's using those two CRMs or even some of the other smaller CRMs that are out there, or larger CRMs out there, but they cater to smaller businesses, what I'm trying to say. How you're actually figuring out your numbers. And, man, I'm just telling you guys, like I have been for 5 years really trying to help folks navigate that conversation. And how many times also have you guys heard or seen on a Facebook post or a thread or a comment on Instagram, hey, man, what are you getting for a yard of mulch? Hey, what are you getting for per paver or square foot of paver installed? Or, hey, man, what are you getting for, a residential lawn that's 5,000 square feet? Hey, what are you getting for an aeration? What are you getting for an aeration and overseed? Like, what are your production rates? What are they coming in at? And frankly, it's a lot of the blind leading the blind trying to compare notes, right? Because imagine this for a quick second here. If you're getting $45 a lawn and I'm charging $55 a lawn, does it mean that I'm that much better at sales where I should be getting $10 more difference a lawn, or you don't know your worth or your value, so you're charging $10 less per lawn? Is it a very calculated decision, right? And this is stuff that I'm just talking about out loud. I'm not calling anybody out or anything specifically out, but let's talk about the mental thought process here. And this is why I'm just shocked that still everybody's got a podcast. There's 10,000 episodes of everything out there. And still, I've never heard anybody talk actual grassroots, brass tacks, taking off the shroud, the facade, the fugazi. Bro, what are you talking about out there? How exactly are you coming up with knowing your numbers and what to charge? And so the first real realization that I have of this was 18 months ago when I built the Know Your Numbers calculator out for my own business, because I realized, dude, we were guessing. We were still just making up numbers about what we're charging based on industry averages, productivity averages, and what I believe we need to be charging to make money. We made that calculator available. It's $100. And frankly, that's why we made it, because I wasn't able to invest or afford an Element or a Synced Up, some of these softwares that have this stuff baked into them, but they're $400 or $500 a month, right? So we used that calculator for, 6 months to a year with our own business. We made it available about a year ago. Hundreds of you guys have downloaded it. It is the best thing you can do for your life and your business, to be able to know what you need to be most likely charging on your man-hour rate to be able to start having a profitable company. And I'm not just selling it to sell it. I'm just telling you, what else is out there for real? Show me a document, a resource, a course, anybody with a YouTube video, show them pen to paper, how they're making money in their company in this age of influencer marketing and hundreds of people putting out content. Who's actually helping you run a legitimate, more successful business and dispelling these myths? And that's what I'm freaking out about. Because my content, I will tell you, we are running a real authentic lawn care business, and you will continuously hear me try to strive and pursue truth and excellence. And the revelation that we're having with utilizing a software system like Element in the last just couple weeks alone has made my mind just explode. And I'll give you a couple for instances, what we were charging for weed pulling. If you would have told me 3 weeks ago what we were charging wasn't profitable, I would have told you you're freaking crazy. We used to charge $75 per man hour to pull weeds, and I thought it was about a 50% margin, and we would have done thousands of revenue and thousands of profit on weed pulling and weed spraying. Just to come to find out that based on our actual numbers from LMN, it needs to be almost $122 per man hour for just my truck, my labor, my overhead for us to actually be making money on weed pulling. Do you guys know what you need to be charging, what your break even, and to be profitable on your weed pulling? Just a simple service like that. When it comes down to what we install a yard of mulch for based on the overhead of the trucks, the rigs, the dump insert, a tractor, so on and so forth, do you actually know what it costs you to put down a yard of mulch? How many times have we all said, oh, we're at $110 a yard, $125 a yard, $150 a yard installed? Do you actually know? And so this is why we're doing that Element launch party on Thursday, like to show you guys exactly what our company's actually charging, needs to charge, what a real business looks like. I wouldn't say we're the best business, not by any means, but a real business, something that I'm trying to grow and get better at every single day. Just be candid with you guys. Like, I don't have it all figured out. But if you would have told me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before my onboarding and looking at my budget and our overhead and our break even for our business, that we were not profitable weed pulling, or maybe not as profitable on some sites installing mulch or flowers or mums, I would have told you you're absolutely crazy. But this is what happens when you utilize a budgeting software and system, and you can actually plug in your information to see what you're charging. Now, again, it's not a pitch for LMN, but I will tell you, if not LMN, then what? If not LMN, please at least use the Know Your Numbers calculator to help you guys get closer to the mark. And if you are doing 300, 400, 500 grand, $500,000, million, there's a lot of you guys that are listening in, buddies of mine, that you guys, listen, I'm telling you straight up, you're doing $500,000 to $1 million, you're leaving so much money on the table, it's not even funny. Not only from the fact that you should probably be charging more, but the fact that you probably don't know how much your company is bleeding out cash because you don't know what you don't know. And I'm just telling you, like, if you're doing $500,000 plus and you're hung up on the fact that, Element's $400, $500 a month, I'm telling you, best investment ever. And I have a company doing less revenue than you guys so far. So the gains that you should be making should be 1.2, 1.5, 2x improved or better, right? Imagine the return for you guys is you have a larger company. So here's the last thing that I wanted to land the plane on and just kind of wrap this thought up, as I'm just putting out a PSA and kind of just really concerned about the amount of people that put out information but just don't really have the business acumen or the candidness to really provide you guys with the full gamut of business. Because again, anybody can be an influencer, anybody can start a podcast, anybody can have an Instagram account. Is what are you actually charging, to come up with your pricing? Last one I'll come up with and I'll share with you guys is I have a huge HOA that we picked up, and I thought we were killing it with this thing. Last year, the quote was about $24,200, something like that, right? Decent sized account. We ran it through LMN, and we had realized that the actual cost to do the work was around $17,500. Once you add in my company overhead and break even, we're at about, drum roll, any guesses? $24,000. And what did I charge last year? $24,200. What I should have charged based on my new budget here and our services and our pricing, it should be at $27,000 with a mere 14% profit. Most of the Element pricing factors in a 10%. I know guys run 15, some guys do 18, some 20, 22%. But a 15% margin is what I'm, net profit margin is what we're looking for my company this year. Imagine the revelation that I have where I go, the funny thing is, I was doing the onboarding and we were building out an estimate together with me and one of the onboard guys, part of the education team that you get with LMN. And he goes, well, do you feel like you made money on that job? I go, no, not really. I said, we were there a lot, dude, a lot. Like, it's a big site. It takes a lot of time. Guys are all freaking, day, 3 guys, 2 hours each, bunch of weed pulling, pruning, flowers. I'm like, it was good to have like part of the portfolio, but if you would have told me that I broke even or lost money on that site, I would have told you you're crazy. I'm like, no, dude, we're making money. Like, well, how do you know you're making money? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like we're mowing at about $80 an hour per guy. Like, bro, here's just the revelation. I'm not here to sell anybody on freaking signing up with them. I'm not here to sign anybody up on using the calculator. I'm just talking about myself, or we're going to talk about unfiltered and just having a real business here. Like, this is the concerning stuff that's on my mind with having a business that nobody seems to still be talking about. No influencer, no maintenance guy, no... Dude, it's wild, isn't it? It's wild. So maybe somebody is, and I'm just missing it, but I'd love to have anybody point me in the direction to prove me otherwise. Here's the last thought that I'll give you guys. My last thought is, I had 2 conversations recently. One was a quick little DM exchange, and the other one was a 30-minute candid conversation with somebody that I confide a lot in. He's a mentor of mine, and he's... I won't take exactly and say like this was his words, but basically these were his words. And I called him up and I said, hey, I know you use one of the other CRMs that are out there. It's not Yardbook. It's the other one that starts with a J. But I just said like, hey, how are you actually coming up with your numbers? How do you price your work? How do you come up with profitability for your business? I said, I believe that CRM doesn't offer anything like that. So what do you do? What do you use? He goes, oh no. He goes, man, great question. Which turned into a 45-minute conversation. The long story short, not to give it all away, but he said, I don't use anything from that CRM to help me with my work and pricing. He goes, it's just a glorified scheduler. He says, I've been with them for a long time. They've been fantastic, great people, great team, great social media folks, fun community, fun people. They support so much that we all do. But at the end of the day, it's not their design to help me know my break even, my company overhead, the cost of my work, and how to be profitable. It's just a glorified scheduler. I said, what do you use? He goes, well, I actually do a lot of pen and paper and utilize my budgets from QuickBooks. And I said, what? I said, why isn't anybody talking about this? He goes, Brian, he goes, welcome to the big boy club of realizing that 99 out of 100 people are still making stuff up. And also why when you have conversations like, candid conversations with folks like Corey Ballard or Troy Clogg, and they say, getting big's not for everybody, because once you finally realize what it actually takes, excuse me, what you actually have to charge, what you actually have to do to recoup these overhead costs, and to how to actually make money, it's like this machine that you have to perpetually feed because it gets so big that it constantly needs the fire stoked. You constantly need to backfill with work, like all of our companies, right? So it's such an alarming thing. I guess it's just an alarming thing to me, dude. I'm so shocked, baffled, and confused that I told Liz the other day, I feel like this is the same kind of mental renaissance that I had back in 2016, 17 when I met my friend Mike Bedell, who started asking me tough questions, who held my feet to the fire and said, like, dude, these pseudo fake buzzword answers aren't going to get you to where you want to go. And when I met Bedell, we were absolutely like broke, busted, and disgusted, right? Fast forward, I feel like 6 or 7 years later, after having a bunch of private conversations with some friends, and then also with Mark Bradley and his team, and then other folks that are utilizing an LMN, I feel like I'm having the exact same deja vu and conversations all over again, this time at a different pay grade, this time at a different level. One that I know so many of you guys are aspiring to learn and understand and to grow through and to grow up with and through as well. So, at the end of the day, like, if you're just getting started in business and you're looking to do 50 grand on the side, like, dude, use Yardbook. Yardbook is awesome. I've always endorsed them. I always will. They've been great. I love Mark and the rest of their team. But for those of you guys that are in the middle, for those of you guys that are looking to grow a company, 300 grand, 600 grand, 800 grand, $1 million, 2 million plus, I'm sure at 2 to 5 million, some of you guys that have been doing this, it's like, duh. It's like no brainer. It's like, hey, welcome to what I figured out 5 years ago. Dude, I get it now. I totally get it. And we're going to do everything we can to utilize this software to the nth of its ability to make sure that we're not guessing one day further in our business, in our life. And that's, I guess, what the message is for today's podcast episode that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. The other last thing that I'm going to say as we wrap this up 3 times is I've asked this many a time to other buddies that are using and promoting other softwares. And I say, do you feel confident in knowing your numbers for your business? Do you know what your break even is? Do you know what the price should actually be? Do you know how much true net profit your company's making? Not just from what your bookkeeper says or QuickBooks, but from your actual business, from your actual budget, from your actual CRM. And with all due respect to all of my buddies that have asked that question, they've all said no. In fact, I had somebody just calling me out on Instagram saying, hey, why are you promoting these guys? You should have went with, the other CRM that starts with a J. And I said, show me your total cost. Show me your break even. Show me your company overhead. Show me your company profit and how you're factoring some of these core key metrics through that CRM, and I'll entertain that conversation. Inside baseball, they're not set up for that. And so you wonder, how is that person pricing their work and making money? Or are they more excited about promoting the CRM to get a kickback? By the way, at the time of this recording, I have not been paid a single dime to share or promote anything about LMN. Just so you guys know, we are becoming LMN ambassadors, and I'm hoping to share and promote LMN in the future. But I will tell you guys right now, at the time of recording this podcast episode, every single thing that we've done LMN, I've paid to go, I've paid to be there. I have paid my own personal time to do all the onboarding, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? And frankly, this is a whole nother podcast episode that Liz and I are going to do probably together, but we're actually going to be shifting gears a little bit with our social media content, just broadly speaking, in terms of we're not here to be influencers, quote unquote. We never have, we never will be. We are business people, and we're not just going to be promoting stuff that is good for the paycheck, is good for the pocketbook, but doesn't help people grow a real company or what their company needs now, okay, and what their company actually needs to grow. And that's why I'm just having this internal shaking my head session at just what's being shared and promoted in the marketplace. And then somebody has the guts to rebuttal what I'm trying to share with, and the alternative is bullshit. So how about that for your Unfiltered podcast? Go ahead and try to provide any of the answers that I've asked on this podcast episode. Let me know what you come up with. If you come up empty-handed, 2 things. 1, maybe we're putting out truth. And number 2, maybe other people are still making shit up. Okay, and I don't care if that ruffles anybody's feathers. I don't care if people like to hear that or not. I don't really care. We're growing a real business. I have a mortgage that kicks in. I have 2 kids now. I have cars. I have vehicles. I have a future. I have a retirement to plan for. And if you think we're going to be making stuff up or guessing stuff up, or we're going to be promoting stuff that doesn't actually help us run a real business, like we're actually really running a real business, then that's not going to be good for the gander. Then it's not going to be good for myself as well. And we're not going to be talking about it or promoting it. I'm forever exceedingly grateful for the last 3 to 6 weeks that we've had onboarding with the LMN team. My eyes have been opened. Our company, we have so much work to do, good, bad, and ugly. You'll be able to see some of that on our Thursday live stream. Folks, I'm telling you, if you're on the fence, you need to stop straddling the fence, especially if you're a guy, and figure out what your company needs next to go to the next level, okay? Is that LMN? I don't know. But I will tell you, please, PSA, don't guess and don't make stuff up any longer. Eventually, you have to do the hard work to really win and take it to the front in business. And that's why we respect guys like Sam Gamble, Corey Ballard, and Troy Clark. They're the real McCoys because they've actually put in the hard freaking work to really understand what their business takes to win, succeed, and grow, and how to do it year over year, building a championship, winning team and winning culture, winning company. And that's why you respect people like that, not just people that are promoting something to make a buck. Okay, check it out. I'm sure you can get a free trial of LMN online somewhere. We just jumped into the paid version. I have no idea. Go to golmn.com if you want to learn more. Promo code Brian, I have no idea what it saves you or makes us. I don't know, but if you want to use our code, check it out. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. My voice has been just destroyed behind the scenes. Sorry for maybe some of the edits on this podcast. I sound like Bobby Kennedy over here, but it is what it is. That guy's awesome. And that's all I got. All right, appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and look forward to catching up with you here on the next episode.
In the world of lawn care, success hinges on managing expectations. At Lawntrepreneur Academy, we get it. Our commercial lawn contract is the tool that every pro needs. It's not just about mowing lawns, it's about clear communication and rock-solid agreements. Our contract covers it all, from seasonal upkeep to handling surprises. With customizable features, it's tailored to fit your business like a work glove. No more misunderstandings, just smooth sailing toward success. Get the Lawntrepreneur Academy's commercial lawn contract today and solve one of the biggest pain points in your business. The link is in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.